Hello everyone, my name is Lightning Kayn. Now, I am going to be making a guide here, and I'm going to talk about a few things in this guide. Now, the first thing, I'm just going to introduce a little bit. Like I said, Lightning Kayn is my name, and I am mostly a League of Legends streamer, but I do play a lot of Genshin. So, I'm here to talk to you about my Lightning Kayn's guide to Genshin. And the first thing is, for me, I started playing this game during Eula's first ban, which, for those of you who play the game, will know who Eula is. For those who don't, she's just one of the characters. I'll get into all that stuff later. So, I've been playing the game for quite a while. And I'm also going to tell you that this is a gacha game, for those who don't know. Which means you have to use wishes and stuff, and I'll explain all that stuff later, don't you worry, if you're new. If you do know the game, then there's no issue here, and you'll just probably want to skip to ahead when I talk to all of you about my builds and my artifacts and etc, etc. However, what I'm going to say is the order of how things work in this video. First thing I'm going to talk about with video gameplay is I'm going to explain how I play the game. Mainly about two particular characters being Xiao and Kazuha, but you'll figure out why those characters in a little bit. And the second thing I'm going to be talking about is overall how I chose to level my characters and their artifacts, and just how to build my characters to my particular style. Obviously you can do it in whatever way you'd like, and then I'm also going to do a generalization of how to build characters. I'm also going to just give an overall idea of how to play the game with my knowledge on how to get what you want, kind of thing, without spending money. Obviously, if you spend money, everything's easier, but you want to know how to do it without spending money too. So I'm going to go through all those, and the last thing I'm going to talk about after my characters and how to build characters is how to build teams as a free-to-play player, and then also one as a winner. Or one as a really lucky person. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and let's get on with it. Alright, so now we're in the game of Genshin Impact. Now, we're not starting at the starting spot, obviously. But, like I said, the first thing I want to really discuss is about how I personally play the game. So, the first thing I'm going to do is open up my character menu. Obviously, I have a lot of characters, because like I said, I've been playing this game for a while. But, look at Kazuha playing his thing. Anyways, like I said, I'm going to go into details about this character, Kazuha, and this character Xiao in particular, because I'm going to talk about how I play the game. So, how do I play the game? How does Lightning Kayn play this game of Genshin Impact? This whole massive world to explore. How do I play this game? Well, the first thing, if you've played Genshin, you know. This is a gacha game. What is a gacha game? It means you do wishes. You wish on these banners, and you get things. Hold up! Lightning Kayn, pausing the video to quickly explain something. Before I continue, I was about to explain about the wishes and all that, but I'm actually going to drop a clip of when I was wishing for Xiao. So, please enjoy that before the video commences. Enjoy! So, how many have I done so far?
Like 40, I think?
This is 50.
Yeah.
50. Will Sophie win the bet?
Will I win the bet?
Mine was 50-60, so.
God damn it!
Wanna cry about it?
Die mad,
I'm
cry
so
harder.
close to mine.
Do we get a Yujin eventually?
The thing about this is, like, win the 50-50, that's the thing.
This man's, like, within his, if he loses 50-50 within his last 80 wishes, he's gonna get one Yunjin every single 10 ball. Every 10 ball.
It's gonna happen.
Another Chang'e man.
You're
Hey,
gonna
Matthew.
get an
No.
Hey, Matthew, you know what'd be really funny? Like, when he pulls a 5-star, before you can see the outline, click his mouse twice, and then he has to guess.
No. We're not doing that.
That is so good,
We're
though.
not doing that.
Come on, this is suspense.
5-star?
Alright, let's see.
I said
It's
60.
a Xiao.
I said 60. Y'all.
No!
No! Are you?
We got him!
You win another 50-50?
We gotta take
Yeah,
a
he won another
screenshot.
one. Of course he won
Lee,
another
what the
one.
We got the Xiao!
No. Congratulations.
Now do it again. Do it
We
again.
got him, boys!
At least we're not screaming Diluc this time.
Diluc! Alright, let's see the rest of them. Maybe you got 2, you'll never
Maybe you
know.
got
Ninguanke!
If you got 2, that would be like...
If
That's just the...
If there's a second Zhao, my eardrums are gone.
There won't be.
There might be.
Maybe. You never
There
know.
could be. Yeah, are you going for C1?
I don't know. I don't know. We got the boy.
Uh,
We got the boy. We
That is
won
beautiful.
the 50-50.
Yay. Keep going. Yes, Lee, keep going.
Do one more 10 pull.
Why one more?
No, because Lee is saving for Kazuha. You don't want him to lose Kazuha.
I don't want to lose Kazuha, but like I said, keep going.
Do we just use these?
Yes.
Yeah, just use these, like,
You
honestly.
have the weapons, no? Or do you want to save for a black sword?
I don't know if I want to
Okay,
get
so then
that
hold
for
on to at least
Kazuha.
24 of them. Hold on to some of them, but just don't bother with it yet.
Okay.
Do it after. I'd say keep going at least until you're at 90 and then stop.
Until I have 90 left.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
For,
That
for now, I'd
that
say
is
do
a good
that.
one.
So you got 40 witches. That's a good amount.
How many did I even use?
You used 60 there.
Because I had
Yeah.
112 to
You-
used
Use 60 wishes, but you
No.
rate pity.
I haven't gotten Eugen yet!
then get Eugen. Keep going.
Gets another show.
Then you get 90.
Oh!
There's no way. There's no way.
Oh my god, is it? Please, another show! Oh my god, please!
Are you?
There's no way.
Please!
Olga, how come you never did this when I wish, huh? This is unbelievable. Congratulations.
Intertwined fates, standard fates, they all come from primo gems. See, if I tried to do a wish, if you want one acquainted fate, which are wishes, you need 160 primo gems. I have 64. So, anyone who obviously knows how to play the game already knows all that stuff, but how do I play the game? I'm going to start this off with talking about some basic characters. When you start off the game, you start off with the Traveler, which she is right here. You start off with him or his sister. And you start off with this character, you start off with Kaya, you also get given Amber, and you also get Noelle very early on, Lisa very early on, and Barbara very early on. Now, those are your beginning characters. If you'll notice, each of these characters I go on, some have similar backgrounds, some have different ones. That's because of their elements, which you can see in the corner are different. Again, those of you who've already know how to play the game will know all this, but for those who don't, well, there you go. There's a little tidbit of info. But every character is divided into a multitude of classes. Swords, spears, bows, claymores, and finally, wherever one is, those are your main weapon types in Genshin Impact. So every character you have will be one of those weapons. There's some exceptions, but I won't get into those right now because I don't own one of the main characters who shows those exceptions, so I can't really discuss that. Anyways, how do I play the game? You have all these different characters, all these different elements, but how do you choose to play the game? For me, I choose to play the game based off of what I like. Now, what do I like? Let's go into all the characters here. These are what they all look like. You see, there's a lot of girls, there's a lot of guys. There's some guys that kind of look like girls, like him. Anyways, what I go off of is the fact that 5 stars. There are event 5 stars and standard 5 stars. This, standard. This is always here. See, there's no time limit. Meanwhile, when you look here, 19 days, 1 hour, 59 minutes remain. After this will be gone. You won't be able to get her again. If you want her, try and get her now, because otherwise she's gone. She won't be back for maybe 6 months, 7 months, a year from now. So these characters are important. Now again, this is a gacha game. You do wishes. If we look here at details, you can read all this stuff. if you'd like to, but I'll sum it up. Every wish has a chance to get a 5-star. However, that 5-star percent chance is like 0.6% or 0.3%, being a weapon or a character or anything in total. Meanwhile, here all this stuff says is that if you get up to 90 wishes, you're guaranteed a 5-star. Every 10 wishes, you are guaranteed to get a 4-star. It shows you here the 5 stars that you can get off this standard banner that never leaves. You can get characters like Mona, Diluc, Kaching, Chi-Chi, you know, all that stuff. You can get some weapons and 5 stars, and then you see here 5%, 100% at 10 pity. Pity is the amount of wishes you've done. But these are all 4 stars. You can get characters, weapons, all that stuff. So, let's say you're at 89 wishes, you haven't gotten a 5-star. Your next is guaranteed to be a 5-star. It could be her, could be her, could be her, could be one of those. It's going to be a 5-star. However, on the limited time banner, if you do the wishes, you have a 50% chance of a 5-star to get Klee. This limited character, you have a 50% chance. Well, you might ask, what happens if I lose that chance? Then, if you lose it, as you can see down here, if you lose a 50-50, you are guaranteed to get Mona, Diluc, Jean, Chi-Chi, or Kaching. You're guaranteed to get a 5-star, but a 50% chance to get the one you want. Oh no, you lost the 5-star. You got Mona, not Klee. Worry not, within another 90 wishes, you have an 100% chance. I don't quite know where it says it. Where does it say it? Here? It's somewhere in all this. Oh yeah, here. Per 90 attempts, 50% chance. If not, you're guaranteed. If you don't get Klee, the next 90 wishes within, you're guaranteed to get Klee. So, with that information said, now you know you have a guarantee to get limited event characters. You don't have a guarantee to get her, or her, or her. But if you don't get her, you have a chance to get her, Diluc, or Jean. So these characters you can still get off this banner if you lose a 50-50, and if you do lose a 50-50, congratulations, your next character's guaranteed. That's the main basis with wishing. Now, to how this comes into play with what I was going to say about my gameplay is that the first thing I do is I looked at all the characters. When I started this game, all of this was gray, except for the beginning characters, like I said, her, him, her, and her. I didn't mean to call Kaya. I apologize. All those Kaya fans out there. But what I do is I look at these characters and I say, which ones are 5 stars? He's a 5-star, she's a 5-star, he's a 5-star, she's a 5-star. All these gold banner backgrounds are 5 stars. 4-star, 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 4-star. It's purple backgrounds. So 4 stars, like I mentioned, every 10 wishes you're guaranteed to get one. You're not guaranteed to get this one or this one, but you're guaranteed to get one of them or a weapon that's a 4-star. So based off this information, you only have guarantees to get the 5 stars of limited events. Like I mentioned, Klee. I don't actually own her, but she's a limited event 5-star. If you want to run around as her, you have to get her, either by winning the 50-50 or by getting it off the guarantee after losing a 50-50. So what I did is I looked at these characters, I looked online, I watched YouTube videos, I researched everything, and I decided that the character that I fell in love with was Xiao. So me, not having Xiao at the time, looked at him and decided, this character right here, this edgelord looking character, kind of looks like a femboy and cute, is my favorite. His weapon, polearm. Constellations, I didn't know what this meant when I first started. Talents, I didn't know what that meant when I first started either. But I decided that he was the one. But he wasn't available when I first started. So I decided, like how I explained with the gacha system, and with wishes, I decided to save up these, and a whole bunch of these to convert into these, for when this face, this banner, was Xiao's. Because I decided that of all the characters in this game, this was my favorite. So that's step 1 on how I play the game. Save until the character you love comes. Well, how do you know you love this character? Good question. That is why whatever characters are running, they give you a test run of. For an example, like I was telling you about Klee, say you start the game and you don't know if you like her. Here's a test run. You get to throw bombs. She throws bombs. She blows shit up. She throws a little bunny thingy. You can start the trial. You also get other characters to test out with her that are 4 stars. But you get to run around as a character to see if you like them. You get to use all their abilities. On top of this, you can pause the game. You can look at the character's weapon, you can figure out, okay, she's a caster, you can look at all this, see what they give you, you can see if they give you constellations, you can see what talents, levels, and everything is. So, they show you how to do all that stuff in the trial. So, even if you don't like a character, or if you might like a character, they will guarantee that you will be able to try to see if you like them, which is really nice. So again, how do you play the game my way? You locate a character, whoever it is, for mine it was Xiao. Wait for them, try them out. If you do like them, congratulations. You have enough wishes because you've been saving to get who you want. Which works out great because if I show you Xiao, Xiao is considered a main DPS. What is a main DPS? A main DPS character is someone who has a lot of main attacks. They have their own special skills, for example, Xiao's dash, and their ult does a whole lot of damage. You can see this in talents. You can see how his autos do this much. His dash does 537% of my damage, and his ult will basically increase my normal attack damage, my E damage, and everything else. That's how this character in particular works. Other characters obviously work in different ways, but I'll give a greater detail of how each character that I really like works in the next segment of this video. However, just as a brief example of how I like the game, that's what I did. I chose a character, this guy, and I waited for him. Because this is a gacha game and you involve wishes, that's what constellations are. I got lucky. Remember I told you that I really like this guy? So I saved. Each one of these is a Xiao I've got. Compared to someone like Albedo, who doesn't have these. Xiao is a character that I saved, like I mentioned, an absolute long time, and obviously I got lucky, because each of these didn't take 90 wishes. Because remember, if you lose the 50-50, you need another 90 to guarantee it. So I just got lucky and I got this. But you can tell that he's a character I really like, because I've put that many wishes compared to, like I mentioned, a character like Albedo, Zhongli, who are also 5 stars. A 4-star character, like Rosaria, do I use her? She's only level 80, so I've kinda used her a little bit. However, I don't use her a whole lot. Ignore the phone. And I still ended up getting these because every 4 wishes there's a chance to get her. Sorry, every 10 wishes. Because she's a 4-star. So, my advice when you're playing this game, if you want to play it like how I do, choose any character you really love. It doesn't matter if they're a support like Zhongli or a main DPS like Xiao. If you love the character, you will make it work. And that's where I get to talk to Kazuha. This character is a support. I have waited so long for him. However, I got a little bit impatient, got her, got him while waiting for him. So, unfortunately, I only have one of him to date. But Kazuha is a character who is a support. When you look at his abilities here, this is a support ability, and this one is a support ability too, because these abilities go off even if he isn't in the field. That's why his level 1 hasn't been leveled yet, his normal attacks. Meanwhile, compared to Xiao, I've leveled all of them. However, that will change for Kazuha, because he's a support. But look at him! He looks relatively cool. He's short, not that that matters, but he's just a very cool character for me. He's my favorite along with this guy. The difference is, he's a main DPS, he isn't. But, honestly, in Genshin, just because they're main DPS or not, doesn't stop you. Weapons. If you give them a good weapon, this is a 5-star weapon, and it works with his kit. This weapon can make him a main DPS. Compared to some other weapons, if I show you these different weapons, look at this weapon. This gives energy recharge. What is energy recharge? Gets your abilities up faster, so you technically put this on a support. Let's look at this. This increases physical damage, so you could put that on someone who autos a lot. This weapon increases crit damage. This one increases crit rate. Now, what's crit rate and crit damage? Those go into your stats, which you can look at more heavily in detail if you'd like by other people's videos or do your own research, but the main basis is crit stats increase your skills, alts, and auto attacks, and your crit rate is a chance to have a crit, obviously, and your crit damage is how much bonus damage happens when it does crit. So a character like Kazuha is meant to be support, but I am building him as a main DPS. Why? Because I love him. Like I said, if there's a character you really love, just pick him. Just go with it. Just play them. Doesn't really matter why. If you like the character, just go for it. So, I'm gonna go actually just into detail about Kazuha. Because I've explained Xiao's a main DPS, but Kazuha's a support. So, if I show you again in his talents here, he has a special thing called Poetics of Fubutsu. And what this says is upon triggering a swirl reaction, animal with any other element swirls, Kadahara Kazuha will grant all party members a 0.04% elemental damage bonus. Now, what is elemental damage bonuses? That means a character like Bennett, who's Pyro. A character like Ayaka, Cryo. A character like Ball, Electro. Those elements, when mixed with his element, will do bonus damage. And it will do even more damage because of how this character works. However, like I mentioned, I'm not making him to support her or him. I'm making him to do his own damage. That's why his weapon has crit stats, because I want him to be critting. I don't care if she's the one critting. Okay, that's a lie. I do have her built as a main DPS, so I do care if she crits. But her crit stats are pretty ass. They're not the best. I don't care if she crits compared to how I want him to crit, because I want him to be the one doing the most damage. But again, his kit isn't made for that. You look at this character, you look at how much his attacks do. His attacks do a whole lot. When you look at Kazuha's, like, his damage, his hold is 469%, compared to Zhao's, who's 537%. Now, yes, I have constellations on Zhao, and I don't have Kazuha, but ignore that for my example. Main DPS do more damage than sub DPSs or supports. A sub DPS is a character like Albedo who can help your main DPS who's off the field. Meanwhile, support's sole job is to feed or protect your main DPS. So Kazuha, like I mentioned, I want him to be a main DPS. I want him to be doing the damage. So, give him the right weapon to do crits. Now, artifacts. This is huge. This is the part where all Genshin Impact players will cry in agony or cheer in joy. Why? Because it's more gacha. Let's look at a flower. What does a flower give you? Solid HP. Okay, you level up a flower, as you can see, level 20. You can also see it down there. You level up the flower, it gives you HP. Now, what are these? These are substats. Defense, crit damage, elemental mastery, HP. Now, if I show you this flower, look, these are different. Every one of these I choose, they're all different. They're all level 20. They're all different designs of flowers because, again, like different elements of characters, each artifact has different bonuses. Let's look at this one. 2 pieces give you attack plus 18%. Compared to this one, when 2 pieces gives you energy recharge. So obviously, depending on how you want to build your character, you need different artifacts for them. Now, how do I build Kazuha? Like I said, I want him as a main DPS. So his first flower has crit stats, elemental mastery, because it is still important to have him do elemental damage, and HP percent. Why HP percent? Well, that hooks back to the weapon. Most characters you feel would want to scale an attack to do more damage. However, this weapon in particular, HP increased by 20%, additionally provides an attack bonus based on 1.2% of the wielder's max HP. So any HP percent on my artifacts, because of this weapon, will be converted into damage. which is why artifacts and weapons kind of link up together. Because not all weapons work like that, but some do. If you want a character like Kazuha, a character like Bennett, a character like Rosaria, a character like Jean to do damage, you build them in mind with their weapon. So, I explained the flower. Feather, flat attack. You can't change that, but you can change these. Again, if you want a main DPS, you give them crit stats, attack stats, HP percent if I could. Unfortunately, I didn't get that on this roll. Now this set is attack percent. The other set is animo damage bonus. Why animo damage? Because he's an animo character. I want him to be doing damage. Look at his timepiece. Now these, you see how this is attack percent, aren't all attack percent. This one's elemental mastery. This one's energy recharge. This one's attack percent. This one's HP percent. So you have to luck out by getting the right sets. You want animo damage. You want increase in elemental mastery. You want elemental burst damage. You want energy recharge. All of these depend. So, Kazuha's, I gave an attack percent. Let me also move myself here so that you can see what I meant there. Let me actually drop myself here in the middle. But as you can see, these change depending on your stats of what you happen to get and what it happened to roll into. Because if you look at this one, it's level 12. You can enhance this. You need to put XP materials so you can throw stuff in here and level it up. I'm not going to do this because this piece is bad. But I've leveled up all these other pieces that are all 20, as you can see. So this is Kazuha's. Attack percent, because I do want him to deal damage. HP percent, because with his sword it helps. Elemental mastery, because he scales off it. And crits. His goblet, animo damage, because he's an animo character. Energy recharge, because I want his ult up faster. Attack percent, because like I said, attack. Crits, because crits. And elemental mastery, because he scales off of it. His headpiece, more crit. Now, the HP here didn't roll well. I would have liked this to be other crits or HP percentage rather than flat HP, because there is a difference. Then attack percent, attack, and crit rate. It's not the best piece on him, but it's the best I've got. So it's what I've settled with. Now these are, like I said, his main DPS build. However, on one of my other characters here, called Ether, my starter character, I have all these also for Kazuha. However, all these artifacts, which I'll quickly go through, are all built as a support build for Kazuha. How Kazuha should typically build, like I said, is a support, but how I built him is a main DPS. Which is, again, why I finish off explaining this whole thing. This is how I build characters. I choose characters I like, and I build them as main DPS. Is this the most efficient way to play the game? No. Is it how I play it? Yes. Again, if you look at all the characters that I own in this game, all of these characters, I think I can show you by characters owned. Yeah. These are characters I own. 4 stars and 5 stars. These ones are ones I don't. Now you may ask, well, how come you don't have Tartaglia? He's a nice looking fellow. Why? Because he came while I was still waiting for Zhao. And like I told you, Zhao was priority. Now if Zhao came, if Kazuha came before Zhao, I would have wished for Kazuha. Because like I said, I like these two interchangeably. So then you may ask, well, based off Kayn, based off what you like, how come you have all these other characters if Kazuha just showed up? Well, you need teams. As you can see, I've got 4 people running around. Like, I can switch with my number keys to different characters. So, you need a team. How do you set up a team? Party setup. These are your teams. My Zhao team. You can change this to whatever you want. But I have it as Zhao team. You can select a character and place whoever you want. So you get the option of customizing your own teams. You also get bonuses of putting certain elements together. So this is my Zhao team. Why? Because this team works well together. Zhao's the main DPS, Albedo's the sub DPS, Shang is the support, Bennett's support. 2 supports and sub DPS to buff my main guy. Now Next team, we've got Arataki Ito, a main DPS, and then these three to help buff him up. Next team, we have Ayato, main DPS, Raiden Shogun, a support, Ayaka, who is also a main DPS, but like I said, I build off of characters I like. I also like Ayaka, I also like Ayato. They are both main DPS, they are also siblings, Kamisato, so I want to put them together in a team. Is that wise? I don't know, it's really what you want. Like I said, how I play the game is putting what I want. Other people will build teams, not if they like the characters, but because they work well together. I build teams because I like the characters with synergy. So I might have to put a character I don't like Chi-Chi. I don't like her, but I put her there because it's needed to help my overall team. Now, this is my Kazuha team. We got Kazuha, who should be a support, but I have him as a main DPS. We've got the Raiden Shogun, who's a sub-DPS. We've got Yelan, who I don't really like, but she works in this team. Now you may ask, how does this team work? Well, let me show you. I will deploy my team, and I will show you why this team works. Let us go to an area I know has enemies, which is over here. Again, you can teleport across the map and everything. So, you see those enemies over there? Those guys? I'm going to show you why this team works. I'm not going to ult, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to run up. First step, turn to ball. Why? You do that. Now they have Electro. Next, use her to dash through them. That does damage. Go in the middle, because Kazuha looks like this. As you can see, one of them have died. So now, I can use Bennett. As you can see, fire. That guy's over there is ice. So if I use Bennett, I can break through that shield. I can go back to Kazuha, slam on his head, and boom, he's dead. So even though Kazuha is not a main DPS, those abilities that he uses, like this gathers people together. It's meant to be used to gather people to switch to a main DPS character to fight. However, like I said, even though Kazuha is a support, I built him as main DPS. Ball, her abilities, like, I'm not sure if you realize, but even when I was playing Kazuha, you still saw purple. That's because when Ball uses her E, it applies Electro on everyone. Again, Yelan, same thing. You do this, anyone you touch gets water applied on them, because she uses water. If I shoot, you can see splash, water. Bennett, Pyro. I swing my sword, I apply fire. So all these elements, because how Kazuha is, swirls. And as you can see when I landed, it was all red, because I used the fire on the ground with him. That is why I can use Kazuha as a main DPS, even though he's meant to be a support. That's the basis of why Kazuha and Zhao for me. I personally love elements that work with others. Zhao is the same sort of similar way. Now, he works differently. As you see, Kazuha groups people together and does a whole bunch of wind. Meanwhile, Zhao, if I go back to my Zhao team, if I play him, he just dashes. He does damage dashing through enemies. He still does Animo, but it's a different way. Because Kazuha is meant to be a support, he's meant to apply other elements, and that's why his plunge turned orange or red with the fire. Meanwhile, Zhao, it doesn't matter if I throw some fire down. Zhao doesn't create anything because that's not meant to support anything. He's just meant to dash through an enemy and do damage. Now, Albedo, like I mentioned, he places this thing. See this circle? This circle means anything inside, any enemies inside, will get geo damage, which is his type. If I throw a Zhongli pillar down, it's geo. You can see how now there's squares around them, because these two characters are geo. So with Zhongli's pillar, now both do damage. So if an enemy was standing right here, it would get attacked twice. Once by this, and once by this. So how does my Zhao team work, you might ask? Because Zhao does not apply elements together like Kazuha does, I can use Geo. Because Geo does its own damage. If an enemy's right here, it's just going to take damage from that pillar. I'll show you actually over here. there's an enemy. Though these guys hide in the ground, so I do have to use Pyro to get them out of the ground. That's the only way to get them out. But if I switch to Zhongli here, and put a pillar, sorry, you can notice that there's a lighter colored, like obviously the guy's burning, but every now and then you see a 1, 2, 8, 6, 2, 4, 10. That is damage from this pillar. If I add the flower, you see how they both did damage? That's because of Geo. So if I fight as Zhao in the middle of this circle, both those are also doing damage. Because Zhao doesn't interact with elements the same way Kazuha does. So there's all these fundamentals to characters that you have to figure out by trying them out. Hence why Genshin's a very interactive and long game. You can't figure out all this stuff any other way besides trying it. So I'm gonna leave this off for the video. Thank you for anyone who watched. I know it might not be the most fluent thing, and all I kind of really explained was how I build characters with a little bit here and there about how wishing and elements and everything works, but my more in-depth thing was about Kazuha. If anything, this is more of Lightning Kayn's guide about how to main DPS Kazuha, even though he's not fully built yet. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can make more on different characters if you want to know more about Albedo or Zhongli or Ball, but this was mainly about Kazuha. So, thank you all, and I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoyed this. I know it's kind of my first video, so I'm sorry. I can work on making my other videos from now get better if you guys want them. But this is just kind of a idea on how Kazuha and Zhao mostly work and how I personally built Kazuha, what I could build him versus what I did build him. So yeah, again, quick recap. Play the game how you want, save up wishes, you can spend money. If you do spend money, what does spending money get you? Spending money will get you more of these that you can use to get characters faster. Do you have to? No, because if you're patient and you save for a long ass time, you can get the characters you want, like my Zhao, without spending money. Or you can spend money and just do it all at once. It's all honestly up to you. But regardless, thank you all. Thank you all for watching my video here about mostly Kazuha and Zhao. And hope you have a great rest of your day. Lightning Kayn out.